Alrighty, so in this video, we are going to be practicing how to read and build a histogram. All right, so you might have seen histograms as like a bar graph. You might have seen something like this. So these examples are from Khan Academy, and I'm going to draw on them. I also made another video on what you can, like how to use the tools in Khan Academy so you can practice as well. Okay, so we're going to get a little colorful here too. I'm super excited. All right, so we are going to be talking about how to put, we're putting data in a bar graph is what we are essentially doing. So in the past, we've been given data and we know how to manipulate it and learn from it. And in this example, I'm giving data again. Now we're going to show it graphically. So it says using the data, we're going to create a histogram, and it gave me how many tunnels Gary the groundhog dug each year. And so we're going to put that into this cute little histogram. So the first thing that we need to do is find our data. Okay, so this histogram down here, everything that falls between 0 and 4, we're going to raise it however many times that number shows up. The reason I know this is because these are how many tunnels, okay? So that's why I know that it's down here, that this represents the number of tunnels. And then the number of years is how many times that occurred. All right, so let's look. How many times did he make tunnels between 0 and 4? So I have to find numbers between 0 and 4. So I'm going to scan, and I only found one. So there's one number between 0 and 4. So that means on my histogram, I'm only going to go up to the number 1. Only 1 year went by that he made tunnels between 0 and 4. Isn't that cool? All right, so we're done with this data. We can cross them out. So what about this one? Between 4 and 8. So we're going to scan the data. Oh, here's one. That number's between 4 and 8, and that one is between 4 and 8. Okay, so we have two numbers now that are between 4 and 8. So we're going to start here. We're going to go up 1 and up to a 2 because there's 2 years that this occurred. And you can color it in. And then, so we're done with those pieces of data. Now, how many numbers occurred between 8 and 12? So let's go through the data. This number is between 8 and 12. This number is between 8 and 12. Oh, sorry, 13 is not between 8 and 12. Sorry, just these two numbers. 9 and 10 are between 8 and 12. So again, we start here. We have two numbers that occurred. So we're going to go up to two numbers occurred between 8 and 12. All right, done with that data. Oops, I'm done with this. How many numbers will fall between 12 and 16? So go down the list. Only one. 13 falls between those two. So only one number falls between 12 and 16. So we're only going to bring it up to the 1. And then the last one would be 18. That falls in this last category, which is between 16 and 20. And there's only one number there as well. So this is your histogram. So now that we're all done creating them, let's learn how to read them. So the next example we have is the histogram's already created for you. All right, so let's learn what information it has, okay? So this is Hurley, and he drinks water. And so this is how many water or liters that he has drank. And this is the number of days that he reached that. So for example, if we have between 1 and 2 liters, so let's say he drank, I don't know, a liter and a half, he did that 4 times because this goes up to the 4. Okay, so how many times did he drink between 3 and 4 liters, like 3.5 liters? Well, he drank that 8 times, 8 days he did that. So that's how you would read this. So let's see what the question's asking us. The question said, how many more days did Hurley drink between 4 and 5 liters than between 1 and 2? Okay, so when we're asking about how many more, I know that we're trying to find the difference between these numbers, but I don't know the numbers. So let's figure this out. So how many times did he drink between 4 and 5 liters? So using my histogram, this is the number of liters, so somewhere in here. And then he drank between 4 and 5 liters 8 times. I followed this all the way over to the 8. So 8 times. Now let's do another one. How many times did he drink between 1 and 2 liters? So that's here, between 1 and 2. Go on up, and it looks like he did that 4 times. So how many more days did he drink between 4 and 5 than 1 and 2? Well, if this one's 8 and this one's 4, that means that this number, the difference between the two, is 4. So you would just do 8 minus 4. So he drank 4 more days he drank between 4 and 5 liters. Okay. Example number 3, another histogram. So there is the mass of every single pumpkin in Leonard's patch. Okay, so how to read this graph is where you want to make sure. This is their mass. This is how big that pumpkin is. And this is the number of pumpkins. So the question is, how many pumpkins are in Leonard's patch? Well, the first thing that comes to mind for me, it wants to know how many pumpkins. So it doesn't really matter what their mass is. I just need to count how many physical pumpkins there are. All right. So in this occasion, between the numbers 0 and 3, it looks like there are 4 pumpkins that fall in that category because it went up to the 4. Now, between 3 and 6, I'm going to count all the way up. And this number, although it's not there, we know it's a number that falls directly between 4 and 6. So 5 pumpkins are here. They fall under this category. Now let's look at numbers between 6 and 9. So we're going to follow this all the way up, and it looks like 8 pumpkins fall in that category. How many pumpkins fall between 9 and 12? Go up and across, that's 6. And then between the 12 and 15 category, go up and across, and that's 2. So now we know how many pumpkins are in each category, but it wants to know how many pumpkins are total in the patch. So what we need to do is add these up. So we have 4 plus 5 plus 8 plus 6 plus 2. All right, so I'm going to do this in little chunks. 4 plus 5 is 9. 8 plus 6 is 14, and then plus 2. Now I'm going to do 9 plus 14, which is 23, plus 2. 23 plus 2 is 25. So there are 25 total pumpkins. All right, last example here is we have a last histogram, which let's go ahead and figure out what the data they're giving us. The size of each house on Prince Street. Ooh, so this is the number of houses and this is their area. So what that means is like between 50 and 100, there are 4 houses that have an area between 50 and 100. So that gives you an idea on how to read the data. All right, so let's see what the question is. Because sometimes I do that before I even ask the question. How many more houses have an area between 150 and 200 and between 250 and 300? Okay, so let's figure out this information first. How many houses fall between 150 and 200? So using my data, that is this part. So let's follow it on up and then follow it, and it looks like it's right here. Although there's not a number there, sometimes they won't put all the numbers, it falls right in between 8 and 10. So that must be the number 9. So the last one is between 250 and 300. So this is a little bit different, okay? 250 and 300 is right here, and it looks like it only goes up 1. So that means if there are 9 houses in that category and 1 house in this category, the difference between the two, this part, is 8. Again, so if you want to pause, rewind, rewatch, this is how you can read and draw histograms. All of these examples are in Khan Academy. So when you log into Khan Academy, I have already assigned this part to you so you can go through, watch videos, and do practice, and even quiz yourself to make sure that you've mastered this concept.